Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I wanted to check out the most recent Winx Reboot trailer we got. If you didn't know, the Winx Reboot is expected to be coming out later this year, and so as we get closer to the date, we keep getting new spoiler images, clips from the first season, as well as a look at the dolls, which I'll also be talking about later on in this video. So the very first scene is of all of the girls doing a pose to the camera. I'm looking at Flora. But besides the awkward poses, looking at the environment, the room, I see a cute little pink flower stool. I would love to have that in my room. We've got a cute desk in the back, loving the doors and the glass. I want to say that's like a coat hanger or a mirror, but the video creator and me thought of ring light. Let's hope it's not a ring light. We do get to see this scene again of Bloom bike riding. I'm not the biggest fan of Bloom's casual outfit. Like, I actually love the bottoms, but it's just the top. The white fishnet t-shirt's kind of awkward. And while I don't mind the pink and the jean vest, I really think that had they gone with a yellow t-shirt to somewhat honor her original look, I think that would have looked nicer. Something interesting, and this is something that happens all the time with shows when you get to see them way in advance before they're due. This scene of Stella and Flora originally was to take place during the daytime. I think this scene would have been the two of them finding Bloom and taking her to Althea. That is unconfirmed though, but I do believe that's what was going on here. And if that's the case, now it is taking place at night. But regardless of the situation, the scene has switched. And it's nice to see the lighting here. I think it actually makes Stella's wings look nicer. And Stella's makeup is also looking much better here compared to the first time we saw it. Then we have this scene of Flora talking to Bloom. I feel like this is going to be her kind of touring her around the school. And I must say, Flora's hair looks really good and her outfit is actually growing on me. I would not say that it's ugly. I think that the flower jacket kind of overdoes it, as it also seems like the pink shirt underneath has a floral pattern on it. And when we look back at Flora from season 1, season 2, 3, and so on, her looks have always been very soft and very flowy silhouettes to really embody that nature floral part to her as a character. Then there is this scene of the girls walking down the hallway, Stella leading with a little bit of sass. And I did see someone point out somewhere how Muse's arm glitches out of existence. Let's hope that doesn't make it into the final cut. Also interesting to see that Bloom is in the back with Tecna. Maybe they'll have a moment where they're talking with each other. This shot makes Stella's nose look weird. Like, she looks better. I'm still not a fan of her makeup. The eyeshadow is just a no for me. The lip color is also a bit harsh. The makeup just looks unnatural. But I'm very happy that they listened to, at least I think they listened to what most fans had to say about her original outfit we saw, and they gave her her OG top. Now she does have this little white top underneath now, which I understand. It's also nice to see Stella's ring of Celeria. All of the girls do have watches, so maybe that'll be how they communicate with each other. Then we see this scene of Stella using her scepter, and in one frame her outfit is the new updated look, while just moments later she returns to her older look. Again, hopefully these are little errors that end up being fixed and polished, but they seem to be beneath Althea potentially. And we can see the Tricks, who look amazing. I love when shows can do a reboot or redesign and still honor the original looks, because those original looks were popular and successful for a reason. So why scrap it entirely if that's how people know the character? So I think they did a great job with slightly tweaking them and updating them. Also, the magic looks really good. Like, this scene of Icy using her powers looks great. In a different scene, we can see the girls on a hike and looking closer at their individual outfits. Starting with Tecna, she has this kind of bodysuit with these cutouts on the sides. Bloom has these longer shorts underneath shorter shorts with a crop top, which it looks okay. It looks okay. Stella girl, I'm sorry, but what did they do to her hair? I can't tell what it looks like, but it's not giving side ponytail, it's defying gravity. Anyways, she has shorts, and also a crop top. Aisha's wearing capris and a crop top. Flora, she's wearing shorts and a long sleeve, probably a crop top as well. And the same goes for Musa, she also has capris. And it seems like they're gonna be going with this pink aesthetic for Musa going into this season instead of a red or even a bolder, darker pink. I mean, in her transformation look, she does have this hot pink purple look to her, but she pulls off the pink, so to me, it's okay. Okay, in this shot, I can actually see Flora's outfit better. I think she's wearing a skirt, and they obviously come across something here. It may potentially be the tricks because we see these little white particles, which could be snow, ice, but that is it for the second trailer on the Winx reboot. But what do you guys think of everything that we're seeing so far? So far, I'm really enjoying everything that we're seeing. It definitely has a new vibe and essence to the series. I actually really enjoyed Mermaid Magic, which this Winx reboot is definitely giving that. So I already feel pretty confident about however it's going to be. I'm especially excited to see the specialists because we've yet to see them. We did have a really quick scene of them in, I think, the other trailer, and there's been some concept art of them floating around. We've also yet to see Bloom transformed at any point in the trailers. Now, we have gotten to see her full transformation, but it'll be cool to see the whole group together transformed all at once. So now I wanted to talk a little bit about the dolls coming out for Winx. Growing up, I didn't have very many of the Winx dolls or merchandise in general. I do recall having a doll of Darcy, but from what I do know from my fellow Winx friends who are collectors, the Winx dolls were beautiful, and some of them were even made by Mattel. Those ones being my favorite, and as somebody who grew up with Monster High, still collects Monster High to this day, my expectations for dolls are quite high and quite unrealistic when it comes to other franchises and series. So for the Winx reboot dolls, there's going to be two different companies creating them. Giochi Preziosi being one of them. I do apologize if I pronounced that wrong. And then Playmates Toys being for the others. Now, they're going to be both creating similar lines from my understanding. Like both of them will be creating their own separate versions of the girls transformed, potentially in their casual looks, and then whatever other lines that they want to create, like these fancier ball gown looks, these more punk aesthetic looks. So for the ones that are going to be released mainly in Europe and the UK, they seem to be lower budgeted, but I may be entirely wrong and they just look like this.
It's a no for me.
For one, to an extent, I can accept cheap fashion, but what really sells the doll for me is the face mold, the screening, and these dolls just, they look cheap. Some look better than others, but for the most part, they all just have this soulless stare. I understand they're dolls, but again, we know what's possible. We know what's possible, especially for Winx dolls. Not to mention that it seems like these dolls do not have articulation. I think that these are just prototypes though. Obviously, prototypes can or cannot stray too far away from their looks depending on what direction they want to go. But let's say that this is the final look for these dolls, then I'm pretty disappointed. But when comparing these to the Playmates dolls that were teased not too long ago, the Playmates dolls do look better. And while they still lack articulation in the elbows, the fashion and the faces do make up for it, in my opinion. Now, am I wowed by these dolls? Am I like, oh, these are gorgeous? Not really. Again, when it comes to dolls, I am picky. I am picky because of Monster High dolls and what I grew up with, what I was familiar with. And having the Miraculous Ladybug Playmate dolls myself, more than not, the dolls do not reach that kind of quality standard that you would expect when you're paying for a $25, $30 doll. That being said though, I do have some Miraculous dolls that I absolutely love the screenings on. One of them being the movie doll for Ladybug. You could say they put more effort into her because she was a movie doll, but she looked beautiful. I loved her eyes. I loved the way that they just portrayed the face. And there's even been other dolls like the Dragon Bug doll, loved her. And I can tell that they tried to do, you know, unique face molds for each of the characters. And I really like that diversity. However, Flora looks like she comes from a different series, a different doll collection. She's almost giving Disney, whereas the other girls are holding up to the Winx look. Her head just looks proportionally larger next to everybody else's, which I think is kind of throwing me off. Nonetheless though, so I hope I'm not coming across too harsh. I still think that these dolls are really nice. I'm excited to see what other dolls Playmates will be creating for the Winx reboot. And while reading this one article talking about Winx merch coming up for the reboot, it was revealed that a prototype of the castle, aka Althea, was on display, but it won't launch until fall 2026, which is a year from now. And if you think about it, if the reboot drops all at once this fall 2025, you're gonna have to wait an entire year until that playset comes out. Maybe they want to test the waters with the reboot and see if it's even worth producing and selling the playset. Hopefully it is, because I do love playsets. I think they're so cool. There is also a fashion vanity and cafe setup that is expected to be released. Looks like they'll also be doing costumes and wings for Bloom, Stella, Flora, and Aisha. And they mentioned that Musa and Teknez will roll out later next year. And then a separate Flutter Fairy Bloom doll will be released in the fall of 2026. Again, needing to wait an entire year, but maybe the reboot will be just flourishing and new merch will be flooding in. I don't know. I really want to see the reboot do well to the point where they can pick things back up again. And I think they'll be just fine. I think they will manage to pull that off. You know, I'm thinking and comparing it to the Monster High G3 reboot. I did watch some of the episodes, but something that really just pulled me away from watching the episodes was the animation. And I think the advantage here with Winx is that the animation is up to par with a lot of popular shows. Again, this is just my opinion, and my opinions are usually not set very high in terms of standards, if I'm being honest. Just when it comes to dolls, they are. And like I said, I watched Mermaid Magic. I really enjoyed it. I've been watching Miraculous, and I will admit Miraculous has had a really big jump in terms of animation quality with the newest season 6. So I wouldn't say that the Winx reboot is on par with that level of animation, but it sits in between a really good level, considering that it's coming back, and it's coming back with healthy competition. And I mean, anything is better than what season 8 was, so really can't complain. Back to the other Winx dolls though, this Stella here I'm actually vibing with. I really like the colors. I like what they're going for. It's lacking. It is lacking. I think also the hairstyle is kind of boring for this kind of a look. Maybe a more voluminous hairstyle would really add to it. Bloom looks cute too. We also have this like ball gown look to the right, which, hey, if you're thinking about younger kids that want to play with their dolls and not just collectors that want to display them on the shelves, even if you do, they are pretty. But for kids, I think they will really enjoy these dolls. And just because we're really getting deep with the doll critiquing here, the packaging is boring. I really miss when they used to give so much love to the packaging for not just these Winx dolls, but most toys. Most toys nowadays, the packaging is just so generic. For each separate 2-pack or play set, it's got the same look, it's got the same color, it's just repetitive. And when you look back at older Winx dolls, older Monster High dolls, the packaging was just so unique, so original, and catered to the character, their personality, and that really helps products jump off the shelves and reach the kids' eyes. You know, if you go to these toy stores, it's overwhelming, and that's how it is in any store. You need something to grab your attention, and I think that these boxes are just lacking any kind of uniqueness. But I'm curious to see what the Playmate dolls packaging will look like. If we compare it to the Miraculous dolls and the packaging that Playmates gives those dolls, again, it's nothing out of this world, but it is definitely nicer in my opinion than the at least prototype packaging here for these Winx dolls. And I assume we'll be able to expect something similar for the Playmates Winx dolls. A nice focus on the doll with a render of them from the series, potentially the logo down in the center where the Miraculous logo is, something like that. We'll see. I'm not sure when the Playmate dolls are coming out. I think that they are supposed to be coming out around the same time when the reboot releases. If you know, feel free to let me know down below. But those were all of my thoughts currently on the Winx reboot. If you've seen any of my other videos, I'm generally very positive when it comes to new stuff, and I feel that way about this series as well. We're kind of in an era right now where we're seeing the renewal of older franchises coming back. And because of how long some of these have been away for, this is what I tell myself. I just say, whatever the outcome is with this renewal, just know that this is what is reviving the franchise, the series, the characters, and whether you are very excited or you absolutely despise, maybe you hate it, and that's okay if you do. But if you do not like or you're not looking forward to the reboot, just know that with anything like this comes the potential and most likely content revolving around the original for the older audiences, which is what we've been seeing for Winx already. When the time comes that the episodes do come out, at least Maya, present Maya right now, would like to react to them. So if you'd like to stick around for that, and if you also want to stick around for more videos related to Winx and other shows and franchises that you may already know and love, then be sure to subscribe to this channel here. And if you want to see reactions, subscribe to my second channel, the Maya.B Show Reacts, which is linked in the description. And as always, be sure to let me know your thoughts down below on the upcoming reboot. And an extra special thanks to my Celestial Guardian channel members for your support. And remember, be yourself, be unique, and I'll see you guys in the next one.